Okay. Welcome back to another episode of That's When I Knew the Podcast, where real people have real conversations about the journey towards building a meaningful career. But we're actually changing things up a bit. It's going to be real people having real conversations about the journey towards building a meaningful career in tech sales. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity, a great moment to reintroduce myself, as well as reintroduce the podcast.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name
is Robert Crayton. I'm the founder and host of That's When I Knew the Podcast. And originally, when the idea for this show came up, the goal was to speak with professionals from a number of different backgrounds about their unique journey. Give them an opportunity to share some advice, share some stories about their career, with the hopes to inspire and inform folks that may have been on a similar path. And also, just to hear the stories of other Black professionals that are doing things that, aren't or go against the popular culture grain. It's been a minute since we recorded some episodes. Like 5 or 6 months. It's been a minute. So the podcast is returning, but with a slight twist. First of all, I'll be the main host for the podcast moving forward, or the only host at this point. I want to give a big shout out and actually thank you to my co-founder of the podcast and co-host Zakia. Going forward, it'll be myself with more of a focus actually on the profession that I'm in, which is tech sales. And so this is a career that there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of folks. It's a career where you can make a meaningful income and do some really interesting work, some fun work. And so I want to take this podcast into that direction, to speak with people from all different backgrounds in the sales industry. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about a few things that'll be changing with the new TWIK Podcast. First and foremost, what the show is about. This show is about bridging the personal and the professional. And so we're all people at the end of the day. And you have to put on that robot, that mask, or that persona when you might be dealing with your customers, when you're going in for a job interview. But this is not going to be the space for that. I want to have real conversations, just authentic conversations, and talk about how our personal lives and our upbringings affect us and influence who we ultimately become as professionals. I also, again, want to give the opportunity for, this will still be an interview podcast. So I want to give my guests the opportunity to share, advice from their careers to the listeners. And so who can you expect to hear? If you're a TWIK Podcast subscriber, who can you expect to hear, a couple times a month? Obviously myself, you'll hear my stories from my own personal career, my takes on things that are just, happening in the industry. But you'll also hear from other sellers, sales professionals, sales recruiters, sales managers, buyers, sales enablement, marketing. At the end of the day, sales is not just in a vacuum, right? There's a lot of people we work with, a lot of other professionals that we work with. So we're going to get their perspectives and hear their stories, but all, as it relates to the sales profession. Excited for the return of That's When I Knew the Podcast. I hope you all are excited, for what's to come, and join me on this journey, this podcasting journey. And a couple things though that I did want to touch on is the why behind the show. So I talked about the why, the initial why, I decided to, start this podcast about a year and a half or so ago. But I want to talk about why I'm bringing the show back and why and what inspires me to even want to, do the work of podcasting. Because at the end of the day, it is a job. It's a fun job. It's a creative outlet for me for sure. But it is some work. So why? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, I want to build a podcast and some content that's going to inspire people, that's going to inform people and entertain people, and just put some content out there that's different from what you may see on your feed and unique. And so I want to give value to the people that come across this podcast in the form of, inspiration, information, and entertainment. And so hopefully the podcast can check all of those boxes for you, at the very least one of them, right? And so, as I have these guests on, that'll be on the back of my mind, right? Is the questions I'm asking inspiring? Like, are these stories inspiring people, like, or at least teaching them something? And if not, I hope I can put a smile on your face or make you laugh. So, that's one of the goals for the podcast and why I'm looking to do this. Another reason that I want to do this is to build a platform that gives an opportunity for people that I respect or that I believe, provide value to others to share their stories and self-promote. I think that's a big value of the media is they give an opportunity, they give a platform for people to promote themselves and, there's a lot of politics and things that go into that. And, obviously this is not that, this is going to be a curated, podcast of people I invite on that I find interesting, that I like, but I'm also open, referrals. So if there's people that you think would be interesting to hear from on the show, listeners and fans of the podcast, let me know, TWIK Podcast at gmail.com or DM me on Instagram or LinkedIn, right? This is a community thing, so I would love to have people on that you also find interesting and, think would provide value to other people. But yeah, at the end of the day, I want to create a platform where, I can have people on this show that can share their stories. And 9 times out of 10, these are going to be people that, may not be influencers already or like at the top of the top, where everybody knows these people. Like, yeah, that's great. But I think that there's greatness in people that, I want to be an early adopter on folks. I want to, talk to people who, are exceptional people, but maybe just they're under the radar or they, they're just not in the mainstream like that. And give them an opportunity to promote themselves and share, all the value that they have with the world and, with the TWIK podcast world. All right. And then another thing that, why I'm, bringing the podcast back, is I think I have a unique perspective. Okay. Let's talk about that. So, I'm from Oakland, California, grew up in a single parent household, grew up in poverty. I went to like 8 different elementary schools. I my life and just my experiences, and I've been in sales. I started selling at the age of 14, going door to door, selling newspaper subscriptions throughout the Bay Area. You know what I mean? So, and I've sold things like solar. I've been in tech for the last 5 years, and I've seen a lot of things. And my background and, what I've been able to accomplish so far is just giving me a very unique perspective. And I don't think my perspective is out there like that, as far as content. And so why not? You know what I mean? I want to share my perspective on certain things and hopefully connect with folks who are aligned or can appreciate my perspective and build a community around, that perspective, right? And also learn, right? And so I'm also going to be learning from the people who are on the show. And so with that said, really excited to bring the podcast back. And now the question is, who should be listening, and well, everyone. No, I'm just kidding. The podcast isn't going to be for everyone. If you want like some professional podcasts, like some Joe Rogan, some Earn Your Leisure, some, some other ones, right? $1 million worth of game. These are actually a couple podcasts that I love, but this is not that, this might be a little bit of the amateur night at the Apollo, but, if you are interested in what I find interesting, then please subscribe. If you're interested in me, then please subscribe. If you're interested in the sales profession, then you should definitely subscribe. Whether you're in the industry already or interested in just learning more about it, maybe you want to, dibble and dabble in tech sales at some point in the future, then you should definitely tune into this podcast because you'll learn a lot. And well, that's my goal at least. And yeah, also who should listen? If you're just interested in hearing other random, people, random people, everyday people doing some extraordinary things, or in their own lives. And listen, if you are just curious about the lives of other people and how they're, building their career and what they find important, listen to the podcast. This could be a cool little show for you. The podcast episodes are going to range from like 45 minutes to an hour. So it's definitely that long form format. But I'm hoping that, it'll be jam packed with value or just interesting things about my guests. So if you're not liking the podcast, let me know. Let me know why, right? So, I'm always looking to get better and, make the podcast better. So, if there's feedback, I welcome any type of feedback, whether it's praise, whether it's, criticism. Go ahead and send it my way. My only ask is, if you don't like the podcast, don't give me a thumbs down like on Spotify or whatever. You feel me? Just message me. Give me that feedback directly. You know what I mean? But if you love the podcast, make sure you share that publicly. That's going to be it in terms of, where you're going to be able to find the podcast. Wherever you've been listening to the podcast, you can keep listening there. But the podcast will definitely be on, your favorite podcasting service, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and then I'm also, for as many episodes as possible, we'll have a visual component. So YouTube, the YouTube channel TWIK Podcast is where you can watch the actual podcast and, see facial expressions and see animations that happen, because there will be some comical parts to the, different episodes. So be on the lookout for that. And then, of course, if you, follow the socials. So LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm also going to be on, I'm going to share some content on TikTok, because why not, right? I'm going to be on TikTok. So follow me there as well. But you'll have, the channel isn't prepared. So, you'll have to come back to the website to find the TikTok channel. But another place that I will likely be is on Fanbase, right? It's a Black-owned social media site. And so I definitely want to put some content on there just, to support and be somewhere different, I guess. So just stay tuned. Go to the website, TWIKpodcast.com, bookmark that, sign up for the newsletter, and then that's how you'll get all the updates. So when I, find a TikTok handle or, things of that nature, you can go there and I'll be able to update you from there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to drop in, say what's up, say, I ain't forgot about the listeners out there. The podcast is coming back. I'm really excited. This is going to be fun for me. I hope you all find this content interesting. And let me know. I'm accessible. Message me on LinkedIn, Instagram, email, and we'll go from there. But until next time, which will be rather soon, I have the next episode coming after this is with my friend Salman Mohuddin, who's an enterprise sales executive for a company called Asana. And he's really sharp, really wise, and has a lot of information that he shares, on his LinkedIn. So I interviewed him, and that'll be the next episode dropping after this. So stay tuned. And, I definitely have some more episodes in the vault that'll be coming after that. And, let's just make it happen. It's, it's the end of 2021. We made it for the most part through a pandemic, and then a follow-up pandemic with the Delta variant. So, it'll be 2022 soon. And, I just wish all of you out there much love, much prosperity, much success, happiness, peace, all of those good things. And I look forward to the next episodes to come. All right, until next time.
I remember when the vision wasn't as clear. I don't think they thought that I would make it, but motherfuck they thoughts, cause I'm here.